Joe, I'll turn to you to start here. 7.5, just like game one. Lay him or take him.
I would lay it. I would lay it somewhat aggressively. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Lakers, and that was a great game one punch from them.
Yeah.
They held the Nuggets to 46% from the field. That's down 3% from their season average. They held the Nuggets to 35% from three. That's down 3% from their season average. They held the Nuggets to 6 free throw attempts, their fewest free throw attempts in 83 games this season, and they still lost the game by 11 points. They had 3 days of rest to get ready for that game. They threw a great punch in the first half. They played well defensively, still lost by double digits. 48-hour turnaround at elevation. I don't expect a whole lot from Anthony Davis tonight relative to what we saw in game one. More on that throughout the course of the show. I would play the Nuggets here.
All right, Joe, comfortably liking the Nuggets. Aaron, how are you approaching game two?
Well, I really loved the Nuggets in game one, laying it. I don't feel comfortable in this game doing it, although it does feel like, it's either going to be a huge blowout or like extremely close Lakers almost win it at the end. But I'm going to look at the Lakers in the first half plus 4.5. So in game one, they were only down by 3 points in the first half. This is a team that doesn't want to go down 2-0 and then head back to the Lakers or head back to LA. But at the same time, I understand how good this Denver Nuggets team is. They're going to have to come out and they're going to have to shoot, and all these role players are going to have to step up, including Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell. What was going on with you? The shots are there. It's just a matter of them actually going down. I just think they'll be able to be competitive off the bat in the first quarter and first half at least. And then I don't know what's going to happen in the second half. Nuggets could potentially pull away.
Disagree, respectfully, of course.
I
respectfully, don't want to get on your bad side, go on how dangerous that can be.
That's very dangerous place
Exactly. So it's respectful disagreement. I love how the Lakers looked in the first half of that game one. I don't see how they're going to do it again. Like the Nuggets had been off for a week. They couldn't knock down a shot. The crowd was out of it, and then they kind of picked it up in the second quarter. I think tonight they come out firing. I think the Lakers are going to look a little tired. LeBron looks sluggish at the end of that game.
First to 10, Joe?
That price is probably pretty exciting.
I mean, it is.
Joe Fornell's not afraid of a good time. I do have a first to 10 we'll talk about in a little bit. But yeah, I would get involved. I think the Lakers, I think the Nuggets are going to jump all over them in this game.
All right, so Joe likes the Nuggets every way you can.
Respectfully, of course. Respectfully.
Aaron saying, all right, that's a little zigzag, though. A little zigzag with Lakers' first half for you there, which they had the first half.
It's going to be a nasty text tonight, isn't it?
My boy LeBron James.
Notifications off.
Interested in player props. 25.5 is the number. He went over that in game one. 7.5 rebounds. He had just 6 in game one. Assist prop at 8.5. He had 8 helpers in game one, coming in under that number. 8-1 for a triple-double, which may not even be enough to beat this Nuggets team, even if LeBron does go for a triple-double. But you have to imagine he will do whatever he can to try and keep his team close. So that does intrigue me at 8-1 there. All right, Aaron, I'm going to start with you here. Are you willing to pull the trigger on any LeBron props?
I'm not feeling great on any LeBron props. I know it's a 25.5, and if you look at his points prop odds, it's been listed the last 10 games. He's been able to hit over the listed number 6 times. And so he's been going over, but at the same time, I mean, I think these role players are going to have to step up and they'll have bigger games. So I expect, like I mentioned earlier, D'Angelo Russell to have a bigger game. So I think the points will be probably spread out more so. It's not like this is the last game of the series. If that was the case, then yes, I'd be thinking, all right, LeBron overs are going to do everything in the power. The minutes are going to be there. But if this ends up being a blowout, we're in trouble. Because a guy like LeBron James isn't going to play a ton of minutes.
Isn't there some sort of LeBron trend we used to talk about all the time, like game 2 of a series?
Yes,
do you have that filed away?
I do not have it filed away, but the narrative, game 1, he feels that things out, and then
he downloads the information.
That's very good.
Downloaded the data.
So did he download to unload in game 2? Again, that's why 8-1. That's like a...
He has a lot of data of the Denver Nuggets crushing him this season.
That's true.
So
9 straight times.
I don't know what data we're loading here on this side.
Well, he's got to download some new software, it appears, for this matchup here.
He shot 60%. I mean, he had a top 20 shooting.
He was awesome in the first half. That's why they had the lead.
Very good. What do you want to do? Do you want to bet against him knowing he knows how important this is? He'll take the game into his own hands? I don't want to bet against him.
Again, if I'm going to take that long shot. I'm going to stay away from most props, but 8-1. Again, I think there's a better than whatever that is, 10, 12% chance for a triple-double here. They got to keep the game close, but if they do, LeBron is probably a big reason why. Where the New York Knicks look to take a 2-0 lead tonight on the Philadelphia 76ers. The Knickerbockers won and covered in game 1 despite their all-star Jalen Brunson going just 8 of 26 from the field. Joel Embiid briefly left the game with a leg injury, but he did return and finish with 29 points in the loss. All right, time to welcome in from MSG, Tim Bontemps. Tim, I need to talk to you about Tyrese Maxey because we saw he was downgraded to questionable for tonight's matchup. What's the latest?
Well, Tyler, Tyrese Maxey missed shoot-around this morning, was not here at Madison Square Garden with his teammates as he's dealing with an illness, questionable for tonight's game. However, I would say it's more likely than not that we'll see him out here on the court. Obviously, you never know with something like this throughout the course of the day, but Tyrese had 33 points in 44 minutes on Saturday night. He's a guy that gives the Sixers a completely different element with his incredible speed getting to the basket. You saw him really take over the game in the second half, seemed to unlock some stuff against New York's defense. So assuming he is out there tonight, which I do think is more likely than not, we'll see him. It's going to be interesting to see if he can get into the teeth of the defense once again, as we know, Philadelphia is dealing with a limited but still very effective Joel Embiid.
Yeah, let's talk about Joel Embiid because every game it's will he or won't he? What can you tell us about his long list of injuries and availability tonight?
Well, Joel, as you mentioned earlier, Tyler messed up that left knee again, at least briefly, in the second quarter of that Game 1 Saturday night when he did the Tracy McGrady All-Star Game dunk, throwing the ball off the backboard, catching it himself, throwing it down, and then completing the Joel Embiid experience by going down and having everyone afraid his season might be over. However, 2 minutes later at the end of halftime, he was back out on the court. And while he didn't have quite the same burst after the first quarter, he still was a mountain inside at the rim, gave the Knicks a ton of trouble in there, and also is still a guy they're obviously going to guard very intensely throughout the game. So I expect Joel Embiid to play tonight. He's going to go through his workout. He's questionable, as he is just about every game. But assuming there's no setbacks, he'll be back out there at center. And the thing to watch with him is the lift on his jump shot. We saw as every time there was a timeout later in the game, he would stop, sort of do a practice shot, sort of feel the rhythm of it going up. That's the thing to watch with Joel. If the jump shot is going down, the Sixers are going to be incredibly tough to beat, even here at Madison Square Garden in Game 2.
All right, Tim, so it sounds like there's some optimism that both Maxey and Embiid will be available. So what happens tonight? Is this bad boy going back to Philly tied up one apiece, or do you think the Knicks have a 2-0 lead?
You know, I think it's going to be 2-2 after 4 games, Tyler. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to get there, but I feel like this series is definitely going at least 6 games. There's 2 things to watch for tonight beyond the injury stuff. One is, again, does Joel Embiid, is he able to come out and have the same kind of success with the jump shot that he did early in Game 1? You saw the Sixers get out to a double-digit lead in the first quarter, and the Knicks really had no answer for that. So if Joel's able to hit shots, I think Philly's going to be in prime position to win this game. The other thing to watch, and is to watch both tonight and the rest of this series, is the battle on the offensive glass for the Knicks. The Knicks are the #1 offensive rebounding team in the league. Mitchell Robinson is the #1 individual offensive rebounder. Isaiah Hartenstein is in the top 10. And Josh Hart might be the best offensive rebounding guard in the league. And Philadelphia was 25th this season in defensive rebounding percentage. They are a bad defensive rebounding team. And Joel Embiid has not shown a lot of lift since coming back from that injury. So if the Knicks can dominate on the boards again, they should be in very good position to take a 2-0 lead in this series tonight.
All right, Tim Bontemps live from Madison Square Garden. Join us on ESPN BET Live. Thank you, Tim. All right, we pivot now to what the ticket count looks like at ESPN BET. 56% of the tickets, 58% of the money on the Knicks. We've also seen the total drop 5 points since it opened. So the public, remembering what they saw last, though it's by no means overwhelming. Aaron and Joe, Sixer fans, back with me on the desk here. Aaron, you heard what Tim had to say about this game. The Sixers, do they need to win this one, or can they make it 2-2 by winning both games at home when they return?
I don't know if they're going to win both games at home. You don't want to see them go down 2 games, but could it happen? Yes. I'm not betting on the spread. I'm not betting any of these teams outright either. I'm going to look at that total. It has dropped, like you'd mentioned, but I still think that this could potentially go over. Now, I know the Sixers going against the Knicks during the regular season as well. They haven't been able to have or hit over 100 points, but I think that could change in this one. I think we see some better scoring. Maybe we pick up the pace a little bit. I know that you're kind of banking on Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey to be healthy in this one, but if I was playing this game in any way, it's at 204.5? Since when did that get that low? It's 209.5.
Look at you.
Look at this. I'm getting the best of the number, huh?
The surprises of live
We're
TV.
204.5. There is a surprise of live TV. Trust me, and not all are well surprises, but yes, we're going to go over for tonight.
In terms of the series losing tonight and being done, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Series doesn't start until road team wins a game, right?
right?
You could lose 2 in New York. You can come back to Philly. You win game 3, and then suddenly everyone's fired up, right? So I wouldn't write them off. Again, it's the Knicks we're talking about here. We know their history. All due respect to Knicks fans. I would look to play aggressively with Philly tonight when Embiid's on the floor, right? First quarter. He played all 12 minutes in the first quarter in the last game. They were fantastic. They outscored the Knicks by 9 points in the first quarter of that game. I'd play him in the first quarter. I'd play him first to 20, which is offered at ESPN BET. First to 10 is offered at other books. I'd play that as well. There's an alt first quarter line that they win by 3 or more. You're plus 210. I'd play all of those. With Embiid on the court in game 1, they outscored the Knicks by 14 points. Without Embiid, minus 21 points. And this is a recurring theme throughout the course of the season. Without Joel Embiid, the Sixers are an average to below average basketball team. With him, they're a contender to an extent. They're certainly not a top-tier type team. So I would play him in the first quarter tonight. I think he's going to play all those minutes or at least close to it. That's what I'd be looking to take advantage of. Nick shot like 47% from deep in game 1. That's coming down tonight.
And did you ask about the series? I mean, playing in Philly is going to give them a jolt of energy. Like, if they get blown out in this game, I wouldn't be too concerned. I do think that's going to give them some more life when this game goes back.
Perhaps that Tyrese Maxey after the buzzer 3 in game 1 was what they needed to get their feet
I don't think they're thinking about that.
Maybe get the big momentum.
Hopefully Embiid's okay. Now Maxey's questionable.
I'm on fire. The CDA on the list.